Oh no, my favourite character is being axed. My favourite character is being axed. It's Felix. Everyone, it's Felix. This is a shocker to no one. This is the start of the Ben Wadey era. Uh, this is the video. 15 seconds. See you next time. Over to Ash now.
The internet's having a bit of a melt, but it's Felix. He's gone. To no one's surprise, no one's shock. He's been on the list. Been on the list, slowly getting ticked away. The list of dead weight characters who just aren't important to the show. Now, it's not to say that Felix isn't a good character. Well, not to say that he couldn't have been a good character, but was he used like one that had any real prospects? The answer is no. The answer's no. Felix came onto the show with his dad and Finley, both characters who were poised. They were poised to be really cool, big characters, part of this new Baker clan, with Mitch backing up Mitch's side of the family. And then one by one, the dad... Are we past the minute?
We're at minute 22.
The dad died. Mitch left, Finley left, and then Felix was left all by their lonesome. Now, you may think, Felix, tiramisu. The first, I don't know, maybe not first, because Anita Tinkle in Hollyoaks was a regular drag queen. But, technically the first big drag queen. It was a big deal. Like, oh, yeah, Felix, drag queen, tiramisu is going to be important. It barely got used in the last period of time at all. And, like I said, the potential was there. They were used fairly well, fairly interestingly. Introduced him and Finley, both like suffering the loss of their dad, who had cancer, and generally slotted into the Taylor life, despite having a bit more of a lavish lifestyle. Another duo. They love the duos. But through time, they were a part of the Chelsea and Whitney's extended family type relationship where they all shared the house together. It was all Whitney, Chelsea, Felix, Finley. And it was always teased oh, is there more to it? Is there less? And the answer's no. The answer is no. There's nothing. And even then, so still, you kind of wanted something bigger. You wanted something to be more fleshed out with Finley or Felix. Finley left very quickly, and they proved in 1 week what the character could have been in his full run, where he kind of stood up to Sookie and he was standing up for himself, and it's like, whoa, we could have had this the whole time. Instead, we had what we had. And Felix has never really had that. At the end of the day, the most memorable Felix scene is a scene where they are arguing with Phil dressed as tiramisu. That's it.
And Phil is confused.
Yeah, and Phil's just like, what is going on? But yeah, and as Piggy suggested at the start, this is obviously a part of Ben Wadey's new cuts as executive producer. If you don't know what this means, whenever a new executive producer, or basically the soap boss, whenever they take over, they typically have some changes they want to enforce. And a lot of times this is about axing characters and bringing in characters that you want to bring in, whether it be returns or new original families that you want to put your stamp on it. Chris Crenshaw did this with the Knights, the new Mitchells, and the new Fowlers. Those are 3 families that he introduced under his time. But also, he kind of got rid of characters like Stuart and Rainey, like Vi Highway, just the characters who, as we've been discussing, probably are dead weight at the end of the day. And it's going to be interesting to see what else comes up, because with Felix already on the board, with him being the first one to be announced, Callum, Bernie, maybe Harvey in a sense. So these characters have got to be looking a bit sheepish, Just it's happening, guys. We might be axed now, and depending on the time period, like Coronation Street's currently going through a massive like axing spree with a bunch of characters leaving and a bunch of characters being axed as a whole. But EastEnders seems like it is in a better place, so it's probably not going to be as massive a thing as Coronation Street is right now, for example. But still, there are probably going to be some shocking names in this new list of names that are going to slowly be revealed as the year goes on.
Yeah. So I'll read the article, if you do not mind. EastEnders started to exit after 3 years as new boss takes the reins. This is by Stephen Patterson, who wrote the article. Just credit to him. Felix Baker. Sorry, I just want to say this. Whenever I hear Felix, I think of the cat. You know?
Yep.
Felix. Felix Baker star Matthew James Morrison made history as Walford's first ever regular drag queen, Tara Masu, will exit EastEnders after 3 years. The character made his square debut in 2022, arriving with brother Finley, Ashley Bam, and dad Avery. Oh, not reading that name. Avery, as viewers will recall, died shortly after reconnecting with Mitch, and Felix and Finley decided to stay put to get to know their uncle. Tara Masu was the square's first ever regular drag queen, making the character a trailblazing one. In more recent years, Felix moved into number one with Bernie Taylor and Chelsea Fox. He also took up the job as a barman at the Prince Albert. Next week, he also finds himself the subject of drunk Harvey Mitchell's rage. But after 3 years, Felix will exit Walford, with star Matthew said to be filming his final scene soon, according to The Sun. A BBC spokesperson told the publication, "We can confirm that Matthew will be leaving EastEnders later in the year. We wish him all the best for the future." Felix exit comes as the new boss, Ben Wadey, commences his tenure as executive producer, and there's a lovely photo of Tara Masood. I'm thrilled to be returning to EastEnders. Such a exciting time for the show. At Ben in September, when it was announced that he'd be taking over the serial. Having grown up watching and loving EastEnders, it sparked my passion to television. I feel I've known the residents of my entire life. So to lead this iconic BBC soap into its next chapter is a true privilege. Metro has also reached out to EastEnders for comment. And that's the entire article.
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, you can argue wasted potential. I'd argue Felix could have been a significantly better character than he ended up being. And it's not really Felix's fault. He was never really given any substance at any point in time. Was never really given any big, impactful storyline other than the immediate one he had when he was brought in. And then beyond that, he was a filler character. He would have conversations with more popular characters than him and progress their story as opposed to progressing theirs. And, you know, Tara Masu had some good moments, had some pretty cool moments. Felix had some good moments. Like talking to Zach about during his like HIV episode where they when it was unveiled. Like I said, had that good family with Whitney and Chelsea. But at the end of the day, if you don't get much to work with, ultimately you're not going to get kept on. Like it's a and you know, this title it's a bit harsh in a sense. I did dub Felix a useless character, but that's not even how I view it. That's how the executive producer has been viewing him, as a background character who's just there to be there. We ever going to know more about Felix's dating life? No. Are we ever going to see more about Tara Masu? No. Are we ever going to explore Felix's family? No.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can we get rid of Felix, right? But keep Tara Masood? So Felix is axed, but Tara Masood is not. So whenever we see Felix, he's Tara Masood. No, just me.
If you want.
Like so Felix can get axed, but can we keep Tara Masood? They're a lovely character.
No. At the end of the day, the answer's no. But Yeah, I mean, even then, so it'd be nice to hear if anybody felt like Felix was their favourite character. You know, we've given quite a not glowing review of the character, but like I said before, it's not really their fault. I think they were talented. I think they had a good presence. They had a good on-screen presence. They had a lot of stuff that you could have worked with if you actually gave them anything, but they never did. But 3 years, that's 3 years. That's 3 years of working in TV. 3 years of performing. You know, it could only benefit them, raise the profile. Best of luck to Matthew James Morrison. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to slowly uncover what we can kind of gauge as Ben Wadey's angle for his show. Because yeah, sure. Some of these characters are just inevitably gonna get axed. Like, there are a lot of characters who are kind of dead weight and you don't really need them at all. And we're gonna slowly see those characters who feel like it was time about 3 years ago to get rid of them. And we're gonna see what direction they're taken. Maybe some characters under Ben Wadey become much bigger than they were before. Like Kathy under Chris Crenshaw, who has kind of obviously she had a high profile storylines back in the day, but since returning in 2015, has farted around a little bit, just being Ian and Ben's mum. But now, as of this last era, has become a pretty big staple of the show. It happens to all characters. Sometimes you just get a really big story and it changes the trajectory of that entire character. But I will still say, do expect probably, if we had to spitball it again, Bernie's on the chopping block, Callum's on the chopping block, probably Anna maybe on the chopping block as well if you want to go there. Who else? Who else is on the chopping block? I don't know. Probably more. Probably some more. Maybe Jay. Jay could probably be on the edge. Teatron on the edge, depending on how stuck in he is. But who knows? At the end of the day. Yeah, there we are.
just wanted to close it off. Matthew James Morrison. You should go to Morrison's and buy yourself a lovely cornetto. So we'll see you in the next.
Or a tiramisu.
Yeah, that works, I guess. So we'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you then. Bye bye. Bye bye.